One of the things that really surprised me the very first time I visited Israel many years ago was how close the geology and the climate are to California, where I live. I mean, it's almost like copy paste. Israel has the same earthquakes. It was also a volcanic region in ancient times. It has the same weather. In the summer, depending on where you are, it's either mild and dry or hot and dry. And in the winter, well, the storms can hit really hard, and not gentle misting storms, but torrential rain that causes landslides on land and big waves on the sea. And that's the setting for the story from the life of Simon Peter that we're going to look at this weekend as we continue our series, Flawed Follower. Let me just give you a preview of the message, because some of you are going through a storm of life right now, a financial storm, relational storm, health storm, and you need this. Storms are scary. Storms are disorienting. So where can you look in a storm? Well, where the disciples look in this story. In Mark chapter 6, the disciples are in the middle of the lake where the wind and the waves are pounding their boat, keeping them from making any forward progress. And so Jesus walks out to them on the water. And in verse 49, it says, when they saw him walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost, and they cried out because they all saw him and were terrified. Immediately he spoke to them and said, take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid. The disciples still had some nagging doubts. They weren't sure who Jesus was. Maybe he was a prophet, a teacher, a miracle worker. But in this moment, Jesus begins to reveal that he's far more than just a man, that he's God. And it's only in the storms of life that you learn what Jesus is really like, that he's not just a nice teacher or ethical leader. He's the Lord, he's God. And Jesus also gave them a challenge. Don't be afraid. And he reassured them, it is I. Now, in the original Greek, the phrase it is I was actually two words, ego eime. And that simply means I am. Why is that important? Well, I love the way Pastor Rick Warren puts it. The name of God is I am, not I was, or I will be, or I hope to be. When Jesus says, I am, he's saying you don't need to be afraid because he's God and he's here with you right now, even before the storm stops. He's here with you now. I am. If you're going through a storm, remember, God isn't distant. He's not apathetic. He's not uninvolved. He is I am. And he is going to help you get through that storm. More on this weekend. Hope you can join us. If you're in Santa Cruz at TLC, our services are Saturday at 6 and Sunday at 9 and 11. There's also many other churches doing this Flawed Follower series with us. And you can find a list of those churches at our website, flawedfollower.com. I hope wherever you are, you can attend church or join us virtually this weekend.